Hey guys, so we've just seen the new comedy film, Game Night. Jay, what did you think of it? Yes guys, for this one it's just me. It's something you're going to start seeing a lot more of, considering Jay is now kind of stepped back with the channel in the wake of starting his new acting course, which of course, congratulations to him because that is excellent stuff. I am here to talk about Game Night, a movie that I was kind of mildly interested by because I feel like the situation here has kind of a lot of potential to it. I didn't have high expectations of the movie, what with it being from the makers of the film Vacation from 2015, which I haven't seen, but I have seen enough of to know. Anyway, sitting down to actually watch this movie, I found it surprisingly good. The film's primary stars are Jason Bateman playing the comedy Jason Bateman, Rachel McAdams, Kyle Chandler, I got the name right, it's such a hard name to say with my accent, and Jesse Plemons. The film focuses on a couple and their kind of group of friends who get together every week to have a game night. These game nights consist of kind of board games, they kind of like charades, all that kind of basic stuff that I don't ever really think adults do. Do adults do that? Is that something I need to start doing? Anyway, when Jason Bateman's more successful brother comes to town, played by Kyle Chandler, that name, I swear to God, the stakes get upped when they're all invited around to his house to play kind of a game of, one of them gets kidnapped is the plan. One of them gets kidnapped and they have to put clues together to find out what's going on. But of course, he actually gets kidnapped and then it's a really interesting situation. I just want to start with the fact with this film that the reason it works is because it is a story first. It is a movie first and a comedy second. The other thing this film really does well is the fact I don't know if it was, but it feels like none of it was improvised. It feels all genuinely scripted. And because of that, it feels far more cohesive and far more involving than any of these types of comedies usually do. Because as, like, if you're a fan of this channel, you'll know, we really detest these types of comedies, usually because they're lazy, they're all improvised, they've got actors who don't know how to structure or tell a joke, just standing around talking shit to each other, and they just have no effect. But the fact that this one here seems like it's clearly kind of planned out, they're following along with a script, it really works in its favor.
Whoever finds the victim wins the grand prize, the keys to the Stingray.
Just the keys?
No, Ryan, the whole car.
Oh, yes!
Yes, while it does have a script, I think that script is also problematic at times because of the film's reliance on, I think it confuses telling a joke or writing a gag with a reference. Quite often characters will be talking about something and they'll just bring up like unlimited movie references to the point that like none of them are really funny. I mean, I got most of them. Some of them are again targeted at older audiences, so I'm not gonna exactly engage with them. But a lot of them were just missed. Like there was several like superhero jokes that kind of were weird, especially considering Rachel McAdams is in those movies. She's in Doctor Strange and there was like Iron Man jokes and I was like, when you've got movie stars in a movie and they're joking about other movie stars, it kind of breaks the illusion of it quite a fair bit, and none of those jokes really landed as effectively as the ones that were kind of more interestingly devised. There's definitely a lot of visual gags. Visual gags, that's something that we get excited about when a joke is told visually. It's not just actors standing there and saying stuff, it's actually something to do with a cut or an edit. Or just a kind of contrast in a moment. It's something this film gets really right. A lot of it just succeeds because the characters are really great fun. In a movie called Game Night, you want to have characters that you want to hang out with, and all of them here really add to that fun. Yes, there's kind of some arcs that are left dangling at the end. There's kind of 3 central couples, I guess, plus other characters. We really only get resolution to the main one. The other 2 kind of don't quite fill out correctly. They feel like they're kind of resolved earlier in the movie, but it's not quite adequate. Then again, I don't know how much we need to care about that in a comedy. At least the work is there in the first place. The kind of standouts of this movie, well, yes, it's definitely the best comedic work I've seen from Jason Bateman in quite some time, and Rachel McAdams really brings it, even though they're kind of couple. It's like, I don't know if I buy that they do really work to make it work. The stars here, the real kind of attractions of this film are Jesse Plemons as the creepy next door neighbor, something that he does so well. He's really channeling his kind of Breaking Bad character right here, and he's easily the most consistently entertaining part of this movie. Also, Kyle Chandler has a really kind of nice role with his acting. I can see why he actually picked doing this film, because there's enough kind of character there to feel like you actually have something to work with as well as just telling jokes. I think what I really want to congratulate this film on overall is the fact that the directors here have actually gone above and beyond, and you can see it from the opening of this movie, from the actual opening Warner Brothers logo. You can see there's actual effort put into this movie in every single way. It actually has a soundtrack, like a noticeable soundtrack. I don't necessarily remember it, but while I was watching it, I'm pretty sure everyone like that was like, oh, there's actual music here that they've worked on. The film does suffer from some of its kind of choices regarding kind of licensed music, but the actual soundtrack by Cliff Martinez, it has that Cliff Martinez sound. It's got this really kind of bassy rumble that kind of makes the film feel more involving than any of these movies that we get like this usually feel. There's a lot of really great setup and payoff as well with jokes, particularly one gag that's kind of delivered on about halfway through the film that was just perfectly kind of set up, because as it's about to happen, you can feel they're like, oh my god, they're actually going to make a joke out of it, and they do, and it was excellent. There was also a really, truly incredible one-take sequence. I don't want to say anything about it because it's actually almost worth watching the movie for that sequence alone. Really stunningly done. I could barely see any stitching in it. I could tell that the cuts were there to kind of break up the shot, because there's no way they did pull it off in one full take, and my mind will be blown if I find out that it is. But I couldn't really see the stitches there, and again, seeing that type of thing in a comedy like this is so incredibly rare. The story has really exciting twists and turns. It does just feel like overall a really well-rounded off story. Now, with all of that being said, I do want to draw attention to the fact that I have noticed a kind of trend lately with movies like this, particularly blockbusters, when they just do things right, is that we kind of tend to overblow them. And I'm not just saying just for us on this channel, but I just find people in general, when a movie does something right at the level that should be expected, the praise gets really heaped on it. Probably overboard. So while I want to say I enjoy this movie and I really enjoy the experience of it, I can easily recommend it to pretty much anyone, and I think this is the type of comedy we should be supporting. Just because it hit that level and it did things as I should be expecting walking out of any given movie, that doesn't mean it's necessarily excellent. It's just competent. It's a level that we should be kind of expecting. So I don't want to overblow it. Alright, I've said all this great stuff about it, but at the end of the day, it's still not an excellent piece of filmmaking. It is still not an excellent comedy that's going to get stuck with me for ages. I don't think we should confuse competency with excellence. That was just kind of a mini rant there. I don't want to start doing that stuff too much with the channel because I want to focus on what we have to say about it rather than people as a collective. But the point is that overall, I can easily recommend this comedy to anyone. There's not really anyone that would say, hey, that game night looks interesting, should I go and check it out? I can actually say yes. Whereas usually with comedies, I'm like, no, don't support that shit. This here is the kind of filmmaking I want to see supported. I want this standard hit consistently, and I still think we can go beyond it. I'm going to give this film a relatively safe 6 out of 10. That's just the score. The score doesn't matter too much, just focus on what I said. But overall, I guess I'm just pleasantly surprised with how this film turned out, considering most of these movies usually suck. So that was my review of Game Night. Have you seen it yet? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you like this video? Of course you did. You should subscribe to our YouTube channel down there somewhere to see more stuff from us, and check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter, all at Breaking Banter. I can get through it on my own. I didn't even need Jay to do that.